Welcome to the Geek Retreat Spoiler Cast, episode 4. This week, we are spoiling Uncut Gems.
How you doing, Holly? How's it going? How are you?
Good Pesach out.
All right, Larry, you're a Jew again. Welcome back.
I made a crazy risk, a gamble. And it's about to pay off.
So I want the Celtics to cover. I want the Celtics halftime. I want Garnett points and rebounds.
What do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. That's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
What is that?
I started it.
Are you serious? You're taking my money all over town, placing bets.
I'm having very serious second thoughts.
Are you serious right now?
I know I fucked up.
Howard, where's the money right now?
Howard, got my money? Howard! Is it too late? I'm done. It means nothing. It meant nothing. Please. Give me another shot. You like to win, right? This is no different than that.
Black June power, nigga.
This is my fucking way.
You think I'm stupid, Howard? You and your whole fucking family. I heard you resurface your fucking swimming pool. You know how that makes me feel?
Never
You think your life is more important than my
I don't
life?
know who said that.
I told you about how things were gonna go. You like the way things are going now?
That's my family. Get the kids out of the house.
You having a good time?
Yes. This is me. This is how I win. KJ, it's game night. You should be stretching out.
What is he, a coach? Nah, he's just a fucking crazy ass Jew.
All right, Uncut Gems. By the way, I'm your host, Steven. I'm here with Jason.
You want to win by 1 point? I want to win by freaking 30 points.
Oh, nice. Get it together. Let's go. Let's go. And we got Mick.
What's happening, y'all?
All right. Uncut Gems. Guys, this movie's amazing. Uncut Gems, we follow Adam Sandler in a very serious role. He's playing Howard Ratner, and he's a jeweler in New York who's gotten into some crazy stuff. He's put himself in some very bad situations, and we join his story and see how it plays out. And it's a doozy. There's a lot to talk about in this episode, so I don't want to get bogged down in too many like scenes. I think we could talk about like the specific like scenes that push the story forward. But let's go ahead and let's open it up with first impressions. What do you think? Jason, you want to start off?
Sure. So Adam Sandler always knew he had it in him. He's always, well, not always, but we talked about him multiple times. He's kind of over the top for me sometimes, kind of a little obnoxious, but sometimes he has those roles where he's still like the Adam Sandler person that you love and adore, but then he has those serious moments where he's like, there's like these heartfelt moments or parts where he really needs to be deep and he really nails those, I think, when it comes time to doing them. And so I always knew he had it in him for like a serious role. And then so this was a serious role for him. I think he did really well. So I wasn't surprised by it because, like I said, I felt that he had it in him. So he did very good with that. The movie overall, I liked the way it was shot. It was shot really like fast-paced sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like that style because it kind of brings you into it. It kind of makes you kind of feel like you're there and involved. Anyway, so we'll get into that. But I like a lot of the editing and shooting choices. And I think it overall was a pretty good movie, and it definitely shocked me at the end too.
Cool. Yeah. Mick, what do you got?
What the F? That was a great movie. That's my explanation. That's my first impression. What the F? What the F is going on here?
Yeah.
It was amazing. I dude, I can't believe. Well, I figured he had a nice, acting heart in him.
Yeah.
I enjoy all his other movies, so to see him in this role and the way he performed was excellent. I was on my toes the whole time. It had me you look at the movie and I was stressing for him. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next, man?
Yeah.
Can this guy take any more? I mean, I would have off myself by then. All the stuff that he was going through at the very beginning.
Yep.
But everything. I think it was a supreme movie, honestly.
Nice.
From the roller coaster ride, all that stuff, it was good. I loved it.
Yeah,
they did an excellent job acting everything.
Nice. Yeah, I turned that movie off, and I literally my head was spinning from that movie.
Yeah,
and there was nothing bad. The ending was amazing. The intricacy of the editing and the soundtrack and just that, like you said, Jason, the fast pace of it is like, it's amazing. You are a part of that movie. You are a part of this movie, and you go on a roller coaster ride from start to finish. That movie, I don't think there is anybody else who could have been cast to play that role and would have pulled it off the way Adam Sandler did, because he has it in him to be that serious. He has it in him to have that serious role, but you find yourself like pulling for this character because it's something about Adam Sandler. You have this he has like a charming factor about him. And like you find yourself rooting for him, even though like this dude is crazy. This dude is somebody I would never ever trust or I would never lend this dude money or nothing. But you see yourself like pulling for him to win and to come out.
I know. It's like, can he get a break?
Yeah. So yeah,
it really kept you engaged with that because it kind of. He always had these like plans, like things set in place. He's like, oh, now he's going to do this to try to fix the error that he made before, and then this error fixes this error, and it's like this big whole circle. And so so it's kind of like, okay, so what's going to happen then? Is it going to work? What's going to happen to him now? Oh, there's those guys again. And it's like, it kept you really engaged, and it was really good on that part. And as far as the editing goes, again, it's the beauty behind that is kind of like a science, right? Because like you said, it makes you a part of the movie. With doing it that way, and some people don't like it because it's like that fast pace, especially when they do the scuffles, like in particular that when they brought him in the car and they stripped him or whatever.
Yep.
Because a lot of close up, a lot of shaky.
It's real close. Yeah. And dark. The lighting is real dark.
Yeah, real dark.
It makes it really intimate though.
That's the point, I think. I mean, because you're in a car, you're confined. It's a confined space anyway, so you got to have that claustrophobic kind of feel.
Yeah,
and that brings you out when you watch it.
That's the perfect word for it, is claustrophobic.
Yeah,
this whole movie makes you feel claustrophobic. And so let's just I mean, I hope you've seen the movie if you're watching this. So, Kevin, Adam Sandler, Howard finds a rare uncut black opal, which is the whole movie he's telling us it's worth $1 million, and he's going to try to get it sold on auction. Kevin Garnett is in this movie, and he did awesome.
He did a good job.
For being a basketball player, he pulled an acting role together perfectly fine. I didn't feel at any time there was like overacting or he wasn't holding up to his role or anything. It was great. Kevin Garnett falls in love with the opal, and it helps him like be amazing at a game, but he's got to get it to the auction. And so there's this whole they're not showing up on time to give him the opal, and this whole back and forth is just stress. And the whole entire time, Howard has put himself in a pace where he owes everybody. Yeah, Adam Sandler's character, Howard, he owes everybody money. And the whole movie is a story of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean? You're taking money. He takes money from this, goes and pawns it to get cash. But on top of all of it, he's got a huge gambling addiction. And this is what leads to the events of this whole thing. So the event that really kicks this whole movie off. Well, okay, I don't want to talk about that event just yet. I want to talk about the sound design and this claustrophobic that we're talking about, this high intensity. I'm not kidding. If you haven't seen this movie and you want to, you know, it's been out for 6 months now or something like that. If you want to see it and you're just trying to figure out a review on it, get some blood pressure medicine and some anxiety pills and take it before you watch this movie, because the entire time I'm like, just like, oh my gosh, like you need a break from how fast paced this movie is. People are talking fast, they're talking over each other. The music
literally get stressed.
Yeah,
you literally get stressed watching it.
Like the intro, I actually said something to my wife. I was like, man, it's weird that the music hasn't like stopped from the, you know, you get the opening credits and the music continues and it's this like disdained like strings noise and like it's like horror movie like tension music is what it is.
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of parts it worked really well. And I'm like, ooh, okay. And in not a lot of, but then there are some occasions to where I thought it lingered too long, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, this is overshadowing the dialogue right now, or what the dude is saying. I'm trying to grasp what he's saying.
Exactly, yeah.
And but yeah.
No, I felt the same way. It was just like this. I'm trying to hear the story. It's the intro of the movie, and I can't understand what's being said. And so it goes to like this point of we don't get to know like how this character got to this point in his life. Right. We're just thrown into his life. Like this is his craziness, and somehow he's managing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's pulling it off. Like.
Right.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't have that kind of life. You know, like we get in his own little shop and he's like, there's tons of people in there. The door's not working. The buzzer is jammed. And it's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The guy has the guy thinks he has colon cancer. First off, that's where it starts off.
That's how we meet him.
Right. Doing a colonoscopy.
In a colonoscopy.
Right. So he thinks he has cancer. He owes money to I think it's his brother or his cousin or something.
Brother-in-law.
His brother-in-law, which is $100,000 that he bought the Opal with.
Yep.
He also owes money to these older folks that keep coming up to him trying to get money back from him. And then he his brother-in-law gets debt collectors to go get the money from, rough him up to get the money from him. And then with all this, he borrows with Kevin Garnett's ring.
Yep. And then
pawns
he
it to
get money.
Yeah. And then he gambles it, right?
Yep.
And then he wins, but then his brother-in-law heard that he gambled, so he shut off the bet, which he could have paid him off with.
That part made me go like, ooh.
I was like,
dude. No, because you thought everything was okay. You thought everything was okay, but no, not at all, because he put the bet.
Yeah, so like this movie did an amazing job at like setting. We've talked a lot in our movie reviews and just like talking about character building and stuff. This movie really set the expectation that actions have consequences.
Yeah.
Every action has a consequence. Like you see him, he gets Kevin Garnett's 2008 championship ring and he goes and pawns it for, was it 25,000 or something?
21. He offered 25 at first. And
yeah. There's this whole barter.
So
he gets $21,000 and he goes to his bookie and he places a bet, and the bookie's like, "You're a lunatic for this bet." Right? He places like a 3-way, whatever, parlay. And you're just like, the whole time the person watching it are like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, man? And he goes and he wins the bet.
Well, at the point, you don't think he has enough money. So they're kind of like, okay, he's betting because he's trying to double his money so he could pay this guy off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's putting that risk out, which kind of gets you like, oh yeah, don't bet it. Just pay him off. Just give him a little bit of money or whatever.
Even him just walking in the pawn shop with Kevin Garnett's ring, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, you're like,
really gonna do that?
And he planned it.
Yeah, man.
He planned it before.
He says it. So I guess that takes where everything kicks off. He gets the Opal. And everything's super chaotic. He shows Kevin it, and he's like, speaks.
Oh wait, before you move on, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know
So
you already started, but
no, you're good. You're good.
I just want before we move on, I forget. I just want to say one thing because we're talking about the gambling. That's kind of one thing that kind of threw me off with this movie because I'm not a gambler.
Okay.
And there's a lot of gambling
There
lingo
is,
and
yeah.
talking here, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, what?
Okay.
So that just kind of threw me off with that because if you don't know gambling, if you don't know all these bets and stuff like that and what they mean, then you're kind of lost a little bit in this. And it's a fine part of the story too, of knowing what's going on with the betting.
So I can tell you the bets he does are parlay bets. And a parlay bet is where you bet multiple things to happen. So he says that like in the Kevin Garnett or in the first bet, he wants to take KG on points. I think they said to cover rebounds and then to cover the spread. So the spread is what the two teams will score together. And it'll be like over that or under that. And you take that they will cover means you cover that you're betting for that they'll score what people are anticipating or more. And so so the big important part of that is that a parlay bet, all three things have to happen. If one thing doesn't happen but two do, you still lose the bet. So all three things have to happen, and that's the big thing. He's putting these big bets, like he's gambling big, and it ends up most of the time actually working in his favor. Like he's taking these gambles and they are in fact working in his favor in the end of it. And so but anyway, so that's kind of like a little bit into gambling. But so KG comes in and he is in love with this opal. He's like, I gotta have this thing. So he tells Howard, Adam Sandler, that like, I'm just gonna take this for the night. Right. So he basically like he basically steals the opal. And there's this Lakeith Stanfield is in this movie. You might know him from Knives Out. He played one of the detectives in Knives Out, and he also played in Get Out. I don't know who the character's name he played in.
Small role.
Yeah. So he's kind of like the middleman. He brings clients into Howard's shop so Howard can sell his merchandise like watches and stuff like that. So he's the one who's kind of like the liaison between Howard and Kevin Garnett. Like that's how that whole thing happens. Is his name is Damon A. Is like the guy's Damon A. is his character's name.
Damani.
That's it. So he gets Kevin Garnett in the thing. So Kevin takes the thing and then we kind of move on. So is
that a play on the name Damani? Like the money? Is that where
the
my
money
name came from?
Maybe.
D Money,
yeah.
Yeah, sorry I butchered that name. I should have remembered it. Anyway, so it kicks this whole thing off, and that's where you see everything get crazy. So we get deeper in, and so the I guess one of the first big twists we find out is that the opal is in. Howard has been telling us the entire movie, and we're about an hour and a half in by the time we find out that the opal is not actually worth the $1 million that he says it's worth. Right? It's actually only valued at like $250,000 at the highest bid. And so he thinks that this opal is going to like pay off everybody, and it doesn't.
Well, I think it was just like that because I think the opal was still worth what he was talking about. I think he just kind of got screwed because he waited so late because he didn't have the stone.
Right.
And then when he went and put it in the auction a day before the auction was supposed to be, they only send it to one person to view it, and they just said it was, you know what I mean? I think that's what it was.
I think that's part of it, but I definitely do think that it was it's not worth what he said, what he thought it was worth. Like I fully believe that the diamond or the opal was not as expensive as he thought it was. Like he knows the lore and the heritage behind it, and that makes it almost invaluable. You know what I mean? But realistically, I think it really was worth this. And he was like, I should have got my own appraiser and all this stuff. But I think anybody would have said it. He just knows how to like sweet talk himself into deals sometimes. So like that could have helped him out in that way. So the opal goes to auction and it doesn't sell for, so he still owes, what is his, Nico? Is that what, was that the
Nico, yeah.
Nico? Yeah. So he still owes Nico a lot of money. And so he gets the kind of the start.
No, he owes Arno, but Nico's
Arno.
one of the, yeah.
You're right. Nico's one of the thugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Arno. My apologies. So Arno is his brother-in-law. He still owes him a lot of money. So they get the money from this opal. So that's another thing. Like he has his father-in-law buy the opal to bid up, and you're just still like, stop doing this to yourself, man. Like
right.
You're putting yourself in these situations. So the father-in-law actually gets stuck. He has to pay $175,000 or $190,000.
190.
Yeah. So he takes the $190,000 and he goes and gambles it on Game 7 of the conference finals, or Game 5.
Well, no, wait. He didn't get the 190 because his father-in-law had to pay the 120.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
He had to pay the 190, so he had to pay his father back. So he had to get the opal back from his.
Yes.
From his
so he gets the opal back, and he goes.
Yeah. And he gives it back to Kevin Garnett, who gives him 165.
175.
No,
because he took 10% out for.
That's right. That's
Damani.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
He said, I'm giving you 165 up here up front.
Because I already gave him
take out for him.
Damani. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Howard talks KG up to like, I'm gonna do this, and he's like talking him into it. And the quote that Jason gave at the beginning of the top of the show was what the speech he gives to Kevin, like, you're gonna go off. You have this opal now. You're gonna go off. We're gonna bet on you. You're not a chump.
They're doubting you.
They're
and
like he totally talks about
be here. You can't make it.
Yeah, so he bets the all of the money from the opal on KG, and he puts another 3-way parlay, and he takes them for points and rebounds for the first tip, for the opening tip. So they have to win the opening tip. They have to be winning by halftime, and Kevin has to get 26 points and rebounds combined to win the thing. So
they did that part very well, because that had me so engaged. I never watched a game within a movie. And
exactly. You're watching a basketball game within a movie, and you're like, oh, dude, hit it, KG, hit it. You know what I mean? Like, you're rooting for a basketball player inside of a movie. It's crazy, you know? And so this is where everything, and it's even more intense because of how they set it up. So they're in the office. Arno and his goons show up. Also, another guy who he owes money to shows up. They're all like, everybody's yelling. He's banging. He's been beat up already. Remember, his like nose is all bloody and face is all cut up. Mm-hmm. And he actually like is that where he hands the money out to her? Like, she goes next door.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her too.
We'll talk about her.
That's her like breakout role. She did amazing. Anyway, she hands the money to her and he says, "Get out of here. Like, go with the money." So what he does is, if you've never been into a pawn shop before, they have a door you enter in, and then a door it's a bulletproof like casing that you have to be buzzed in through. Like, the pawn shop owner has to see you and hits a button. So a theme that was set up in the earlier parts of the movie was that the door keeps getting stuck. They keep having to they have a stick in there to keep it from jamming and everything. What he does, what Howard does is he locks Arno and his goons in between the two doors. So they have to be buzzed to get out, and they have to be buzzed to get in. So he locks them in there for the entirety of the game. The whole game, they're locked in there. And it's tense, and they're screaming and yelling. And it's the point of the movie where you're like, you've never pulled for a bet in your entire life harder than you've pulled for this bet. You're like, please do this thing. And so they get the gamble off, and then they introduce like a very late character, the old man at the casino.
Oh yeah.
And I thought like
The rich
something
guy?
what they set it up. Yeah, they set it up like something may happen there that
He was a plot device to
yeah,
move the
totally
plot
like a
along.
red herring plot device. Yeah, it was cool. It was so well done. And so Kevin Garnett has a game of his life. The parlay wins, and he comes out. He bet $165,000, and he won $1.2 million. And so we see the cash get handed to the car. Oh, we see that later, but we see the cash get paid out. And as he finally lets him out, and he's like, see, we did this thing. And freaking the ending happens. What'd you guys think about the ending?
You
Dude,
know what? Oh, go ahead, Nick.
From that point, right when he gets shot in the face.
Yeah, he gets killed.
He's all like, yeah, he opens.
I was wondering who's going to be the one to say it.
Yeah, Howard. Okay, let's
all of a
make
sudden,
this
some
clear.
dude
Howard
goes,
dies at the end of the movie. He gets shot in the
Yes.
face and dies right after the bet happens. So go
Yeah.
ahead, Nick.
He gets all excited because he won, and he's all letting him out of the thing. They're like, yeah, fuck, and he turns around to walk to shake hands or whatever with his brother-in-law that he owes money to because he pulled it off, right?
Yeah.
And as he's going over there smiling that he won this $1 million, one of the thugs pulls up a gun and just blow, kills him, shoots him in the face while he's still smiling, drops him, he's dead. And then they start breaking into his stuff to take all his his jewels and stuff.
They kill Arno. They kill his brother-in-law too because they're like, I'm not like this isn't right. We're not doing this. Kills him too.
Yeah.
So
also in the face.
Yeah, also in the face.
Unexpected. As soon as that trigger went off, I went like this,
dude.
And my face stayed like that till the credits rolled.
We talked about last week. We talked about in the podcast. We talked about plot twists and how like some plot twists aren't as good as others. I think that was the greatest plot twist I've ever seen. I don't know. Like, I was so like
surprised.
I mean, you had to know something was coming, right?
No. I thought I was totally expecting happy ending. Everybody's getting paid out. He's finally done living this type of life. He's like on to bigger and better things. He's going to settle his debts for real. And it just like totally took me by surprise. I had no idea. I knew the dude was pissed off. I thought he was going to punch him in the face or something like that. But I had no idea that he was going to shoot him in the face.
Yeah, because it was all like, you proved yourself. You proved you did it. You proved like he was acting like he wasn't going to do anything.
Well, Arno was saying that, I think. Arno was saying that. I think he came out quiet.
Yeah, he was very quiet.
He was just pissed.
Yeah. But it was just like.
And he just nonchalantly and then just pulled out a gun and shot him.
I could not believe it. Me and my wife were like, because that's also I think that's the only quiet part of the movie too.
Yeah.
Like the music.
Yeah,
well, the tension finally stops. Yeah. The music finally stops. Everything like, ooh, it brings you way down and then just, wow. And
yeah, I think they actually they had like this score, like this glorious, like, yay, we did it.
Yep.
Kind of score going on for a while. And I think that lasted up until the gunshot. And then the gunshot, everything went silent, and then you just hear it fall. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, but I was gonna say something to that point. Oh, because I was thinking, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. I thought they were gonna still rough him up or something, or punch him in the face. I think you said that already. But because when it happened, he was all happy and glorious. He was saying "I love you" to Julia, and then he starts to get up on the thing and put the thing in the metal.
Yep. He like takes the metal like thing out and
I was like, don't open it. It's like, what are you doing? Get the money at least and have them, once you have it, you can give them whatever you want or leave them in there and just leave. You know what I mean? You got enough money to go wherever you want to go and leave this life behind. So I'm like, this is not a good time to open it. And then
you felt that way?
I didn't expect that, but I was like, there's no good that can come of him opening the door right now.
I like that take on it. I definitely was like, hey, like, I thought it was gonna be like, hey, I'm sorry. We have the money. She has the money. Like, let's get this. Come with me. Let's go. Let's get in your car. Let's go. Let's go get the money. And it just doesn't happen that way. It was so unexpected for me. And
I
so,
think that was so stupid for that guy to do that anyways. You would
well,
think he
I was,
won the $1 million.
I was gonna say this thing.
And you would think you would have just said, okay, let's go, and then smoke him when he had the money.
Yeah, or that. But the whole thing behind it. This is the one thing. I guess is the one thing I'll take away from it. So let's move on to you know, good and bad about the movie. So the one thing that I thought was really dumb was, and I don't think it was a bad directing plot, but it was like common sense. You have to be buzzed out of that room. And I don't think the guys, they knew the door was jammed when that thing isn't in there. So they kill Howard and Arno, and then they're locked in his store. Like they're stealing everything, but there's no way for them to get out. They don't know this trick to get out. And like the alarms are going off. And so like cops are on their way. You know what I mean? So it's like they've pinned themselves in there, and they're going to, my thought was that they're going to spend, you know, a lot of time in jail for this, the rest of their lives. In jail.
I mean, they're thugs. They're not like,
they're not the smartest. And yeah, they that's true.
Yeah.
But that was like the one thing I felt like was like bad in a way, but it's not even bad, man. Like I seriously couldn't think of, and sorry, my thoughts are all over the place, but the other thing too is like it cuts after he dies, after they both die, and it cuts to the money being handed out. And then the old rich guy is walking out. So I'm like, oh man,
they planned this.
I'm like, they're connected, and they killed her. And you're like, no, like don't kill her. And then he hands it to her in the car, and you're like, oh my gosh.
I know. I know. I thought the same thing when I was like, oh, they planned this thing.
Yeah.
They knew each other or whatever, but yeah.
Speaking of the girl, we never talked about her.
I know we didn't.
About her.
So
I love that girl.
Julia Fox.
I know she's the other woman. She's Julia in real life and Julia in the movie, right?
Yeah, she is. So this is actually like her very first like movie, like her real movie. And I thought she did amazing at it.
She did pretty good. And what I really like about, I mean, she did pretty good as an actress in her performance. But what I really love about her character is that, because throughout this whole movie, we're like, all these people around Howard, and nobody really likes him. Nobody really respects him. Nobody really gives him, the time of day. They don't, and she's the only one that shows affection to him. The only one that really like cares for him, loves him, and she was real. She plays kind of like
the only constant in like Howard's life. You know what I mean? Like his and
we
didn't even talk about it, but like his marriage is
through his family. Yeah. They've been planning to break. They've been planning to break up for a long time, but he just doesn't want to do it because of the kids. So he keeps pushing it back and pushing it back.
Right.
Yeah. And she's mean. She's played by Idina Menzel. She's not mean. I guess I get it.
He
but
did.
Like, you can just tell like in her facial expression sometimes that she's she's pissed.
But you look at his life, you look at the events that he's put himself into, and you realize like, okay,
how much they've been put through too.
Yeah, like you think like he's put himself through this, he's definitely put his family through this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And
so she's rightfully so pissed off at him, and she at one point says, "I hate you in your face, and I want to look at you."
Yeah. I don't even want to touch you.
Well, then you see him, you see him like try to like redeem his marriage. Like he goes back to her and says like, "I'm sorry, like let's do this." And you start to see him like you start to see him change for
trying to make amends.
Yeah, and even she's like, you can tell like that's not the first time he's done that. That's not the first time he said that to her, and she's done with it. Yeah. And as the viewer, you're like, oh man, like he's seeing his ways. Like, come on, you're like rooting for him all the time. You keep rooting for him, and but like it was good. The Julia Fox did amazing. Like I thought it was great. She just played like a really solid character. She had a big role to fill, and I think she filled it for being her first movie. She's done a couple like short films, but that's it. That's like all. Uncut Gems is her big movie.
I really liked her. I wouldn't mind seeing more from her. What was I going to say about her? I don't know. Forgot. But yeah, I mean, she did good, and Idina Menzel did good.
Yeah. Idina Menzel. Okay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is she Elsa?
Yes.
Okay. That
So she's a big like musical Broadway theatrical actress, and she has a wonderful
That
voice.
might be like the first time.
So I saw her name on there. I was like, is she gonna sing?
Yeah, that's because is she also in The Witcher? Is that the chick that plays? She's not in The Witcher. Okay, because that's who I was. Make you sound amazing. That's how I was confusing her. Was the
that's off of Frozen, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, Frozen 2, kind of.
Yeah,
where they scream.
Yeah.
Where they fucking yell.
Anyway, I didn't mean to take
sorry, sorry.
I'm sorry, Jason. I took you way off that. But let's go ahead and give our final scores.
Sweet.
Who wants to go first?
Were we done griping?
I didn't have any gripes.
Okay.
Except that I was anxious. I had anxiety the whole time.
Yeah, you get anxiety. That's one. I gave credit to the cutting and editing at first, which I love it because of the artistic style of it. But sometimes it's like hard to follow. So it's like, what?
It is. It's very busy.
What's going on? Okay. But on top of that, which goes in line with it, and Stephen, you mentioned it before. The fast-paced dialogue, the talking over each other. So you're like, what? Okay, I'm listening to you, but I'm missing what you're saying. And okay, so now I'm listening to you, but what did you say?
Yeah.
And so you can miss things easily. I think if you're not really like in tune, you really got to be like really in tune with the conversation because it's really fast. You really got to pay attention. Like if you have any distractions, you could possibly miss something. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I don't have too many gripes. There's a gritty style with this, and they're doing handheld most of it.
Oh yeah.
And that handheld movement is not for everybody, and it's a certain artistic style with that. And I think they did good with it, but like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I feel okay. So there's one scene where I was like, okay, let's get over it. Where he gets overwhelmed and he's sitting in the office and they start crying.
Yeah.
And she sucked at crying, right?
Yeah.
So does Adam Sandler. He does his,
he does a little like
the crying scene wasn't. And then she had a tattoo of his name on her butt. That was like that was funny, but I just felt like they should have just kind of like not tried to cry, but just make the scene more like they're just stressed out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it kind of threw you off just a little bit. But that's the only thing. And when they smoked him at the end, I think they did it well, right? But I think it doesn't make any sense for that thug just to shoot him right then and there when he just found out that this guy got a million.
Yeah,
$1 million. You know what I mean? You would go to, if it was me, right? I would go, okay, cool, let's go get this money.
Go get that damn thing.
If I was gonna, then smoke them in the car and take the money.
The only
these jewels that you can't sell to anybody.
Yeah, the only justification I think I can give to that is that they know him and they're afraid he's going to take the money again and go. They're going to just like go into this like cyclical cycle of rinse, wash, and repeat of gamble, win, gamble, win, gamble, win. So
right.
I can see like out of anger, he made the decision. It was definitely an emotional decision. Like he just made it based purely on emotion, not thinking about anything else except that. And
right. But I think, like I said, I don't have any bad to say about the movie.
Nice. Yeah. The only other bad thing I have to say about the movie, it was the one scene where I was just like, I can't watch this. It was when they're texting each other and he's hiding in the closet. I'm just like, ew. Like, I don't want to know that. You know what I mean? Like, they like show you the text and you're just like, I feel gross. Like that's somebody's like personal. I don't know. That's just me.
I like bother me. No.
I don't know. Like I was like,
me
I was like, right, maybe okay. That's just me. It's not like a bad thing.
I definitely get it.
You're like, it's
Yeah.
super personal.
I get it.
And I picked up my phone and my wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I just can't watch this. Like, this is weird. I feel gross right now."
You know, it's funny because like I was watching that and I was watching it by myself, and it was like at that moment my wife decided to come.
That's how it always is. That's how it always is. You watch something and then out of nowhere, like somebody walks in and you're like the weirdest part of the movie.
I'm like, okay, this is
What is this?
a little
shit
awkward
on
right
here?
now.
I'm sorry.
What
It's
is
not what it
wrong with
looks like.
What's wrong with this controller?
This isn't the movie I was watching. What the heck? The channel just changed on its own.
Man, what's on the TV? I just got up.
I just dozed off, babe.
What you watching, babe?
All right. So let's
Okay,
give final scores.
Okay.
Let's go first. I'll go
Okay,
first.
I'll go. Oh, okay.
All right, I'll go first. So this movie is 100% recommended by me. Go watch it. It is not, I think, something that needs to get said, and we haven't said this entire episode, but I've said it to tons of people. This is not an Adam Sandler movie.
No, it's
This
not.
is not a goofy,
a
typical Adam Sandler movie, what we've been getting from him for the past 10 years. Nothing. This is a movie starring Adam Sandler, and he pulls it off amazing, and I highly recommend it. It's a tough watch, but it's a good watch. Like, tough in the way that like your heart's gonna be pounding the whole time, and you're just gonna be like trying to fit everything together. You feel yourself like get fast paced through the movie.
Suspenseful.
The plot was great. I was caught off guard by it. I didn't see things coming. They had really good plot development. There were some like editing stuff. I agree with Jason on that. The sound and the music being like, the music at points was louder than the dialogue, so it's like harder to hear. But all in all, great movie. Go see it. I give this movie like an 8, a solid 8. 8.1. It's not quite an 8.5. It's not quite an 8.5, but like it's teetering. It's like a B plus A minus movie. So it's good. But there are some flaws. So that I give it an 8. My final score is an 8.
All right.
You going?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mick.
I don't necessarily agree with the 8 because it's nowhere. It's way better than Ford versus Ferrari, and that's what we're giving Ford versus Ferrari.
I'll agree with you.
So I give it a 9.5. I won't give it a 10, but I'll give it a 9.5. I give it a 10. I'll give it a 10.
Oh,
because
I
I've read.
10.
Hold on a second.
Because
a 10 is serious business.
That
it
is
serious business. This movie took me to another planet when I watched it. I was took it off my feet from the performance that Adam Sandler given this. I was not expecting that. I had my doubts, even in the other podcasts that we do. I said he had this crazy accent. I don't know. Usually when he has that crazy Boston accent, it's not really a good movie, or it's like it takes the seriousness away from everything. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It kept me on my toes. I'll rewatch this thing over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And like you were touching on, Jason, about when you were touching on like it's going too fast, you miss things. There's so many things going on, right? It's one of those movies that you have to watch multiple times, over and over and over again to actually get the true plot. You learn things every time you watch the movie again.
I agree with that.
Right. So it creates rewatchability. I recommend this to every person. Go watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's life-changing. It's dope.
Life-changing.
It is. I think so. For me,
yeah, with a 10,
when
it's
I
better
saw
be
it, I was
life-changing.
all like, what? It was crazy.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about that movie. All the actors were good, except for that one scene where they're crying. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's the Adam Sandler cry right there.
Yeah, it is. It definitely was. Yeah.
But that was my only complaint. It had me on my tippy toes the whole time, wondering what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? Oh, I'm stressed. I was almost having a anxiety attack just watching a movie, which I haven't felt in a long time with any movie. You know what I mean? It really got me pulled into the movie. So, yeah, I have no problem giving this movie a 10.
All right.
Wow.
First 10. Good job, Uncut
That is the
Gems.
first 10.
All right, Jason.
So I'm going to start off by saying I disagree with both of you guys.
Whoa!
Whoa. You don't even know what I'm disagreeing with yet.
All right, go ahead.
I disagree that you guys say that this movie is better than Ford versus Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari, when we talked about that movie, we said we could not find anything wrong with it. And we've already talked about a couple of things that were wrong in this film, so I definitely don't think it's going to get a better grade.
I'd just like to say on record, I didn't say Ford versus Ferrari was bad. I didn't say this movie was better than Ford versus Ferrari.
You did.
I did not. Mick did.
Mick said it, and you said, I agree.
No.
Play it back.
Yeah,
All right, I'll play it back, but I don't think
when you edit this, I want you to put that in there.
Roll the tape.
Where it's way better than Ford versus Ferrari. And that's what we're giving Ford versus
I'll
Ferrari.
agree with you.
Where it's way better than Ford versus Ferrari. And that's what we're giving Ford versus Ferrari. And that's what we're giving Ford versus Ferrari.
Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, so I don't agree that this is better than Ford versus Ferrari. There are things that I have nitpicks on, and oddly enough, and I know it's gonna sound like I'm going back on my own word or I'm a hypocrite, but a lot of the things that I liked about this movie is stuff I don't like. I like their editing style. I like the way they went about it. I like the handheld in certain moments to bring you into the movie, to get you engaged and make you feel like you're there. But oftentimes I think it was, I don't know, it just at some points it just drew me out of it.
Too much.
Because it was either done too much or it was not done precisely or something or whatever. And then the audio thing that you mentioned, Stephen, as well, with it being over the dialogue sometimes. And then Adam Sandler's crying scene. Yeah, I mean, he's not really a dramatic actor, so I can forgive that. I mean, I'm not gonna knock him too much for that. I think he did pretty decent with it, and most people aren't gonna be too bothered by it, I don't think. But I think it was excellent. I think the story plot was very good. It kept me engaged. Adam Sandler did very well. I like Julia Fox. I think I'm going to actually give it, though. I think I give it a 7.5.
All right.
Because the thing with this movie is, because a lot of our grades deal with how much we're going to rewatch it and how if we would recommend it. I would recommend this only to someone I know likes this gritty style. This gritty style is not for everyone. Like I said it before, there's the artistic style that they're using is not for everybody. Some people get really frustrated with it. They get confused. They get flustered. They don't know what's going on. It's hard to follow. So for that reason, I can't say everybody, hey, go watch it. You're going to love it, because not everybody is. Not everybody is. Anyway.
Will. So, not everybody will.
Not everybody will. Thank you. And yeah, for that reason, I have to lower it for that reason. Okay. And I would rewatch it only but for the reason that Mick said, because I might learn something new going through it, because I might have missed something. But I don't know if I'll be watching it like, because this was so great that I have to watch it again. I don't know if that's the reason.
All right. I like it. I think it's cool that I have us like be super diverse. You know what I mean? Like that's it's on par with what everybody else is saying about the movie. It was a great movie, but yeah, you're right. It is a hard watch, but to me, like, it's worth it to watch it one time, no matter who you are. It's worth it to watch it at least one time. Because it's such a surprising role that Adam Sandler pulls off. I think just for that alone, I've said it in like passing, you and me, like us, but if Adam Sandler were to ever win an Oscar nominee, it would be for this role.
If he would win one, it would be for this one, but he's not going to win.
But he's not going to win one.
He's not going to win.
Well, he
did great, but he wasn't exceptionally great.
I think he could have got like an honorable mention Oscar.
He could get an honorable mention.
What I want to know, my last question, and it's specifically for you, Jason. Me and Mick saw this before you did, and we hyped it up to you. Did it live excuse me, did it live up to our hype?
No, I don't know.
No.
I don't know if it did. It
All right.
It was really good, and I see why you guys say it's really good, and I would see why you guys would be excited about it. But I don't know. I guess I don't know.
It's okay.
I would just have to say no.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I can't tell you why.
I can dig it. That's all right. That's the only answer I need. So, all right. Well, this has been the Geek Retreat spoiler cast, and we have spoiled Uncut Gems for you.
You've just been spoiled.
You've just been spoiled. I like it. If you like this, we have if you like this style of video, we have extra other videos out. We recently did Extraction, Ford vs. Ferrari, and The Wrong Missy, a couple Netflix movies, and a good movies. So go check those out. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Go check us out on Facebook. And if you want more from us, a little bit of longer duration of us, go check out our podcast, which comes out every Monday on YouTube.
Monday.
So, once again, I'm Steven. That's Jason.
Yo.
And Mick.
Well then.
And we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Geek Retreat Spoiler Cast. See you later.
Later.